Toy Story 4 is directed by Josh Cooley in his theatrical debut. But before I analyze this new film, let me just say this is probably going to be my last Toy Story 4 rant video, I promise. If you guys enjoy these sort of rant videos, let me know in the comment sections down below, and I will be sure to comment back. Now, Toy Story 4 is the fourth film in the massively popular Toy Story franchise. It all started back in 1995 with the first computer-generated film of all time, titled Toy Story. Not only was it the first CGI computer-generated film, it was also the first ever Pixar film, directed by John Lasseter at Pixar. The film had heart, characters, dark message, amazing special effects for the time, awesome action, outstanding music, and just an overall amazing movie. Amazing. Toy Story 2, not as strong in my opinion as the first one in storytelling, but nevertheless was a fun sequel. It was basically upping all of the stuff from the first film. The comedy was better. It was everywhere. The characters were so light and just funny. You had some amazing moments. And the action was better. The music was even better. It felt like a true Pixar sequel. Came out in 1999, 4 years after Toy Story, and once again became a massive success. The movie was hugely praised for its animation, its humor, its style, its writing, and its voice acting. But then, the Toy Story franchise took a massive hiatus until Toy Story 3 in 2010. Now, Toy Story 3 was around when I was around. I was a 10-year-old boy living in Florida, and I was a massive fan of the first two Toy Story movies. At the time of Toy Story 3, I was a bit disappointed. The movie went in a darker direction. The comedy wasn't really as much of a focus in this film. It was more on family and growing up and the struggle of finding your importance in the world and letting things go. When I was little, I didn't really understand it that much, and I just found it to be the worst one of the original three because of its darkness and its humorless film. Now, there was a lot of humor in the movie, don't get me wrong, but it just went for a more mature approach. But looking back at Toy Story 3, that film did a lot of risks. It took things in a completely different direction. That film had balls, and that movie, the end of that movie, made me cry so hard. And that Toy Story film, it may be the worst one of the original three, but it's still a darn good Pixar movie for trying to set up things, finish things, and take the series in a new and fun direction. Albeit a dark direction, but a fun and entertaining finale to this Toy Story franchise. Andy grows up, he goes to college, the toys are given to Bonnie. Andy gives Bonnie the toys, and Bonnie promises Andy to hold these toys and cherish them until she becomes the very thing that Andy became. But like that's ever gonna happen. Let's throw all of that crap out of the window and let's meet Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 came out in 2019. Like I said, directed by Josh Cooley. Most of the cast came back. Lots of the producers, lots of just everyone from the original three films came back to make this movie. Now, Andy, he knew that Woody would always take care of Bonnie. And Woody promised to honor Andy, his boy. He promised to take care of Bonnie no matter what. And like I said, throw it all out the window for feminism and SJW. Alright, I'm going to contain myself a little bit and do a mature analysis on this film. I've only seen the movie once so far in theaters the night it came out, so I might forget a couple plot points, but I'm going to try to remember as much as possible. This is going to be a long video. Sit down, relax, get some popcorn, and let's jump right into it. Toy Story 4. Alright. I was very optimistic for this film. A lot of people were very optimistic for this film because Toy Story 3 wrapped everything up in a nice pink bow. It was beautiful. It was visceral, and it was an amazing experience. Toy Story 4 unwraps just unwraps all of the bows, lets the child peek in there, and then wraps the bows back up again. Basically, Toy Story 4. I was very scared for Toy Story 4. My brother Oliver was very excited for Toy Story 4. Up until the release of the movie that night when it came out, I said, Oliver, don't get your hopes up. I mean, Incredibles 2 and Finding Dory, they let us down. Toy Story 4 might do the same thing. So we went into Toy Story 4. The film actually starts out pretty good. You get this scene in a flashback back at Andy's house where they're trying to rescue RC, this iconic toy from Toy Story 1 and 2, who was missing in Toy Story 3. RC is floating away and this rain is pounding down. The animation in this movie is stunning. You can see everything from doorknobs to clothing to hair to fur, everything. The rain, the effects, everything in this movie is gorgeous. The lighting, the colors, everything pops and oozes off of the screen. RC is going down the water, and of course Woody, being the Woody we know and love, goes to save him. Now, I don't have a problem with Woody at the beginning of this movie. He's a selfless and caring character. He's grown a lot since Toy Story 2. This takes place after Toy Story 2, this scene, this very moment. And then Bo is the start of all of the problems in the film. So Bo Peep comes to do Operation Pull Toy or something like that. Bo is very different from Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. She's now up in arms. She's with the bigger toys. She's not that damsel in distress that we knew from Toy Story 1 and 2. Why the change? Well, some might argue that it's because she was in Amy's room, but Amy was still a toddler after the events of Toy Story 2. So maybe she was ruffled around a little bit? I doubt it. So why is Bo Peep all of a sudden such a changed character? What made her become this up in arms, forceful character who is a leader? I don't know. Let's just throw that out the window and have a great family film. So they rescue RC. They get him back, and everyone's happy. It feels like an old Toy Story film. I wish this movie had this entire plot for the full film. I mean, this felt like old Toy Story, the Toy Story that we knew and loved. It had Andy, it had the house, it had like the adventure style to it. If it was a prequel to Toy Story 3, in between the events of Toy Story 2 and 3, it would have been amazing. So RC is rescued, but unfortunately Bo is picked up and she's about to be donated. I don't even know if her name was Amy, whatever her name was. What was her name? Molly, my apologies. All right, so Bo Peep is picked up, taken to a box, and she's outside now. She's being donated, okay? And Woody, he has some infatuation with Bo Peep, obviously, because of the first two films. They like each other a lot. Woody goes to check on Bo Peep, and Bo Peep, she's ready to be sold off. She's kind of betraying Andy and Molly. And in one scene, she's asking Woody to come along. And in a split second, Woody almost joins Bo Peep, which goes completely against his entire arc at the end of Toy Story 2, where he promises to be with Andy forever. Completely thrown out the window for this SJW crap where, let's just keep going. Okay. So we pick up years later, and now the toys are at Bonnie's house. We have an amazing opening scene with the music. We have a montage scene of Andy growing up. All of this is fantastic. Very well done. Randy Newman's score is booming up in the audio. It's just amazing. We're back in Toy Story, the universe, and I was getting ready. I was actually pumped because the opening scene, while not perfect, wasn't too bad. It actually had the heart of the original films. It had the style and the moments. It got me in the feels, man. It got me in the feels. So, after the opening scene, we're now in Bonnie's room. And the clear problem with this movie is that Bonnie is not as entertaining as Andy. You don't really feel like Bonnie's attached to the toys like Andy was attached to the toys in the first three films. She's by no means bad. I'm actually interested in seeing where this character goes, but she's no Andy. One of the best moments in the film is when Bonnie goes to kindergarten for the first ever time. It almost feels like an entirely different movie. She goes and she takes Woody with her, and she makes Forky. Now, Forky is this new toy. Now, a lot of people are complaining about Forky, and while looking back, he's a bit annoying, but he's not, in all means, he's not god-awful, okay? He's not the worst part of this movie, and if I had to pick the worst part of the movie, it's not Forky. A lot of people hate this little spork, but me, I found him to be a nuisance, but not too bad. So Bonnie loves this new Forky, and Woody, being the selfless, amazing character that he is, really wants Bonnie to stay with Forky. But Forky doesn't know what he is. He doesn't think he's a toy. He thinks he's just a spork for chili and some other things. And he wants to escape and just be free. So Woody has to take Forky back and back and back so he can stay with Bonnie. In a way, it kind of feels like a completely different movie than what we get later on in the film when Bo Peep arrives. So yeah, Bonnie, she's kind of depressed because of kindergarten. So her family yells, "Road trip!" and they're all going on a road trip. All of the characters are going with her. They're tagging along with Woody. Woody and the gang, unfortunately, haven't been played with for a very long time. They've been trapped inside of the closet. However, not all of the characters in this film are likable. Like, for example, Ham, Rex, Mr. Potato Head. They're not the toys that we knew back in the first, second, and third film. They're a lot different in this film. They're very shined into the back. They're not in the front very often. They do make a couple choices. Later on in the movie, they make a couple moves to get Woody back, blah, blah, blah. But the toys that we knew and loved from 1, 2, and 3 are just put in the back. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Alex, this is Woody's story. It's about Woody and Bo Peep, and they want to introduce other characters. Well, they introduced tons of other characters in part 1, 2, and 3, but our main cast was never split and put into the back. This is the film where they're put literally into the background. It's kind of depressing because I wanted to see all of these characters come back. I wanted to see all of them and their final movie interact together with the comedy, the heart. Of course, Mr. Potato Head can't be up in front because the actor Don Dickles passed away about 2 years ago. Unfortunately, God bless his soul. But other characters like Ham, Rex, Mrs. Potato Head, even Jessie, they deserved way more screen time, and there was no excuse for them being put in the back. Now, Buzz Lightyear, one of my favorite characters from part 1, 2, and 3, is a complete doofus in this film. They have some side mission where Woody and Buzz, they discover their inner voice, and in the entire movie, Buzz is listening to his inner voice, and I'm going, what? This is Toy Story 4. This isn't Toy Story 1 or 2 where Buzz is discovering himself. Do you know how many years Buzz Lightyear has been alive? How many years of experience he's had with children? And now he's just discovering this inner voice? Like, it's never really served him before. So why all of a sudden is this inner voice plot point just coming out of nowhere? It feels cringeworthy, it feels confusing, and I don't like it. They turned Buzz from one of these leaders to a complete doofus who's just getting into trouble, trying to find Woody, kind of this staggering buffoon. He's by no means that stupid, like, let's say, Jar Jar Binks, but he's nowhere as intelligent as, let's say, the original Buzz Lightyear. Sure, in the first 3 movies, Buzz Lightyear had some pretty idiotic moments, but at the heart, he grew. He became a real leader. When Woody wasn't there, Buzz was there. And Buzz, for the most part, in the original 3, became a strong man, a strong leader, the focus of the group if Woody was never there. Now he's kind of like this buffoon. He's still a leader, but he's nowhere as intelligent as he once was. And that's kind of a step back for me. Okay, so they go on the road trip. Woody loses Forky, so Woody jumps out to catch Forky. And they have this really awesome scene where they're just walking. Forky's walking and Woody's on the road with Forky. I chuckled and I actually enjoyed the film up until this point. I kept enjoying the movie until they got to Bo Peep, but that's coming up later. So eventually they, I can't remember, but they go to this antique store because Woody sees Bo Peep's lamp from the past in the store. So he goes and he investigates. She's nowhere to be found. She's not present in any way. But he does run into Gabby, the next big villain in the Toy Story franchise. Now, Gabby is a very misunderstood character. Now, when you see her at first, she's a bit on the edge. She's a very odd character where You don't know if she's good or bad, but you know for a fact her henchmen, the dummies, are bad. They try to be very forceful with Woody and Forky, and they need that pull string. The reason why is because Gabby wants that pull string so she can be played with. So they chase Forky and Woody through the store, and they're very forceful. They're very just tough. They're up in arms against Woody and Forky, and that's my problem with the film, but we will get into that later. So guess what? Bo Peep comes out of the way to save them, and there she is. She saves them against these dummies, I believe. I can't remember all of it. But eventually Woody escapes, but Forky stays behind. Now Woody, he meets up with Bo Peep at the park, and all of these different characters and stuff, and this is completely the moment where the film completely just died, in my opinion. The moment Bo Peep is introduced, the film not only becomes flat, it becomes kind of silly, rushed, over the top. The writing becomes cringeworthy, a cringe fest, and it just loses its overall arc, in my personal opinion. My apologies, guys. I just had to get a chair because it's getting kind of stale standing up. But yeah, this is when the film kind of took a nosedive for me and my family. So Bo Peep, they got up to their antics, and it's revealed that Bo Peep has been damaged quite a lot. And Woody, he's always been wondering where she's been. Where has she been? She wasn't in Toy Story 3. Well, it turns out that Bo Peep, after being donated, she got into a lot of fights, a lot of problems, even losing her arm. Now, that's pretty dark, but unfortunately, it's not explored the right way. It's only touched upon a couple times throughout the entire film. Bo Peep never truly explains what happened. There's no flashback or anything. She explains that she was locked up in the store for a couple years, but Woody and her never sit down and just have a toy-to-toy talk. And that's what I find disappointing, because Bo Peep, instead of becoming this strong character who has many layers, she just turns into a Ray-type character, Mary Sue SJW. And it's disappointing to say, because I wanted to see Bo become an actual breathing character, not a Mary Sue SJW character, and it's very disappointing. So they go back to rescue Forky because Forky is being held inside of the store. Buzz, on the other hand, is still listening to his inner voice, and they're telling him to locate Woody. So okay, Buzz goes to the fair, and he locates these two new toys, Bunny and Ducky. Now I expected them to be much worse than what they are. They're actually not that bad, but they're not that good either. They're just your typical cringe fest characters, but they're not atrocious like I thought they would be. So Ducky and Bunny, they get into some arguments with Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear promises them a kid, but unfortunately he lies. Then Buzz Lightyear meets Woody and Bo Peep, and they're all together again, and they plot to get Forky out of Gabby's reach. Now, all of that's fine. Gabby seems to be this kind of odd character. She's kind of off. She's too friendly. A little bit too friendly. Oh yeah, and Bo Peep has this little friend, McDipples or something, whatever her name is. She isn't that bad. She's pretty bad when she's introduced, but later on in the film, she's just kind of there, kind of like the side character. But she's not in no means atrocious. So they go on this rescue mission, including Ducky and Bunny, to rescue Forky. Okay, so they get in, and there's tons of scenes inside of the store. And Gabby and Forky have a long talk of Woody's past. And it's a bit stupid that Forky is revealing all of this, but hey, Forky is kind of dumb. He doesn't know what he's doing. Eventually, it's revealed that Gabby isn't bad at all. She just wants to be loved. She wants Woody's pull string because she wants to be loved. But I don't get it. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. She is being very selfish and jealous. Woody, that's his own pull string. He needs that pull string. He has his own owner. So why is Gabby being so mean towards these characters? If Woody never gave Gabby the pull string, what would have happened? Would Gabby have ever let her would she have ever let him go? Or would she continue to attack him until he gets her the pull string? I don't know, because it's revealed that she is actually, in fact, a good guy. But why then were the dummies so mean? And where did the dummies come from anyway? We never really got to see Gabby and the dummies interact much. They're on her side, they're kind of her bodyguards, but why? Where did they come from? Later on, they all escape and they meet Duke Kaboom. This scene is amazing because Duke Kaboom is actually pretty fun. And the tin toy makes a cameo appearance in this scene. It's a whole room full of toys, lost toys. It's kind of cool, and it's a really saving grace scene of the movie. I thought this scene was very wonderful. It was really funny, and it reminded me of old Toy Story, the old charm and heart of Toy Story. So, tin toy, Duke Kaboom. Duke Kaboom tries to help them. They have to escape the cat. They have to escape Gabby. Like I said, they escape. Gabby gets the pull string, but unfortunately, she doesn't get what she wanted. The girl leaves, but don't fear, Woody is here. So Woody is going to take Gabby now to another girl, and they all try to escape, and they have to go through the whole fair. Duke Kaboom, Bunny, Ducky, Bo, all of our new characters are with Woody. Buzz is even there, Forky. All of our characters rush to get back to Bonnie before Bonnie takes off. And then we have this little side scene where the toys in the van are destroying the van to make sure it doesn't go off without Woody and the gang. It's really the only scene where they're doing something. I'm not joking. The only scene where those toys do something is the van scene. So eventually Gabby does get played with, and it's in a way kind of dumb, because what about the dummies? The dummies were friends with Gabby. You see them in one scene scaring people off, but where do they go from there? I don't know. Well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. It's a stupid movie. You have to be a family. It's a stupid family movie. Shut up. But, ladies and gentlemen, then Woody, Bo Peep, and everyone, they're getting back to the van. And Bo Peep, she says, who needs kids? Who needs them? Look at the world, Woody. Look at the world out there. This represents feminism at its finest, at its worst, actually. Bo Peep is basically telling Woody, you don't need men. The kids represent the men. Woody represents a new feminist, becoming a new feminist. He's leaving behind his old friends that support the men, and he's joining Bo, and a feminist. So he's leaving his men supporters behind, and he's supporting an SJW. He's becoming an SJW himself, if that makes any sense. So we get the worst Toy Story 4, reveal ever. This is probably the worst part of the entire movie. So he hugs all of his friends, and instead of going back and honoring his basically boy Andy, instead of honoring him and going back with Bo Peep to get fixed, he goes off into the cold world with Bo, never to be seen again. But Bonnie could fix him. Remember in Toy Story 2, Andy fixed Woody up real nice. Well, you can argue that it's a rare pull string. It's very rare. Maybe you can't find it. Well, I don't know. You never know, because back in Toy Story 2, Woody was fixed up real nicely. There has to be a place for them to fix Woody. There had to be something, and it just didn't work for me. Woody leaves his entire family, Buzz and everyone else. They go off, and we never see them again. What will happen to them? Woody, he goes off into the wild with Bo Peep, into the darkness. He's a lost toy, something that Andy never wanted him to be, something that Woody never would have became. In the third film, he fought so hard to stay with Andy, not to be a lost toy, not to be without an owner. But in this film, throw that all out the window. Now he wants to be with Bo Peep. Toy Story 4 is a very mediocre movie. It's easily the worst film of the franchise. It has many flaws, many issues that prevent it from being a great movie. And I'm tired of the SJW feminist crap shoved into the movie. Bo Peep is just an SJW Mary Sue. Woody only cares about himself. The film is just very forgettable, and it's a very disappointing movie. It should have ended with Toy Story 3. I hope you enjoyed my big analysis of Toy Story 4. This was massive, and you can tell I was starting to get tired near the end of the review. I hope you enjoyed my video. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Do you like Toy Story 4? Let me know down below. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to whatever the heck you want to do, and goodbye. Bye, everyone!